The Diesel Performance Podcast contains explicit language.
Thank you for joining us again. This is Paul Wilson.
And I'm Danny Voss.
And you're listening to the Diesel Performance Podcast. Danny, another exciting week after the UCC here, huh?
I can't believe it's Friday already. That week wore me out.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, the event was just insane. Again, thank you to everybody that came up to us and talked to us at the event. What a blast we had being out there, getting to announce over the live PA.
And the live feed.
Yeah, getting on the Facebook live feed a few times. That was a lot of fun. Meeting all of the great guys who attended the show. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to just a thank you to everybody who came out to the UCC and made it such a great event for the competitors.
It was almost a dream. Like, I woke up Monday and I'm like, what happened this weekend?
And guys, real quick, listeners, we want to give you a quick heads up. Calibrated Power, we are now, anytime you call in to Duramax Tuner or Calibrated Power, ask your sales rep for a free podcast t-shirt. Let them know what size you are. They'll get that ordered up. Anytime you are paying for shipping to get something out to you, we will include a free podcast t-shirt. Make sure you call up and get those. Of course, you can always reach me over there, 815-568-7920, extension 2122.
And you can reach me at extension 2124.
That's right. Danny at 2124, Paul at 2122. Today, I'm really excited, though. We have the top Duramax of the UCC, driver, competitor, NHRDA champion, Wade Minter. How the hell are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. We got you on the phone. Wade, we had the privilege of talking to you right after the sled pull there on Sunday. And, man, you were a little jacked up. That was a little bit of fun, huh?
Oh, yeah, it was. I mean, for our first time to do that, it was pretty awesome.
Now, that was your first time ever hooking to a sled?
First time.
Man, you could have fooled me. 311 feet, Danny.
Man, he's like that pool player that's like, hey, man, yeah, you want to play a game of pool, and then busts out his own stick, you know? I never shot before in my life.
He just killed it, man. I'll tell you what, Danny and I were standing up on the stands with the announcers, and we got to see Wade. You were pretty early in the pack. Do you know what position or what place you actually pulled?
We pulled 4 in the first round.
Yeah, I knew it was early, man. I knew it was
6.
early.
I believe it was 6.
6.
6 and then 4 in the second. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say that first round, we saw a couple of trucks go down. Rudy's had the weight box come off.
Yeah.
There was, a few hiccups here and there. Baca didn't really get a distance. That was worth noting.
Man, that was tough.
But then Wade came up. He spooled up at the line. We all kind of still had our reservations, even at the line, Danny. We looked and we really weren't sure what he was going to get for distance. And I'll tell you what, at about the 150-foot track, look the fuck out, man. This boy was coming.
I couldn't really get a chance to enjoy it too much because I was trying to keep the camera steady because I was filming.
Well, you missed it, Danny. It was wild. I mean, the dust was flying everywhere. It was a really dry track, that first pull. Dust was flying everywhere. The truck was screaming. You could hear the turbos whistling. You could just hear the whole thing just roaring down that track. I thought he was going to hit the woods, man. There was no question. He was going for it.
That tree at the end of the track? Who puts a tree at the end of a pull track?
Somebody who thinks you know how to turn.
Somebody should have lumberjacked it.
Wade, we really appreciate you talking to us at the show and, of course, getting on the show with us now. Let's give our listeners a bit of a breakdown. Tell us about Triple Max, or Ill-Tempered.
Well, I actually come up with the team name is Team Triple Max because I also have a 02 Duramax that's triple turbo, LB7, and then I have this 06 that's LBZ, so I just, I bought the one from Brian Spooner up in Saskatchewan, Canada, the 02, and so that's how the Team Triple Max come about. And then, I just named this other one Ill-Tempered because Brian named the other one Road Rage, so just kind of keep them apart. And we just pretty much copied our truck. I called Guy Tripp at SoCal Diesel and wanted a motor built for it, and he kind of had an idea of what he wanted, and I wanted a stroker motor built, so we ended up doing a 7.1-liter stroker motor just like off of Brian Spooner's truck. And we also tripped it up, put triples on it. I think we were probably one of the first drag trucks to actually have triples on them back in 2011 to 13, so that's pretty much where they came from and all that, so.
tripped it up. I love that.
Absolutely. You know, we've had Brian Spooner on the show. He's also a part of the project with Duramax, which I think they have a new design coming out here for the next season or two. That'll be out. But having two triple turbo Duramaxes, you got a little bit of experience drag racing there in the NHRDA, huh?
Yes, sir, we do. We actually probably won't hold long, but we actually have we hold the current ET and mile per hour record in Super Street.
Ooh.
And you know, me and Chris and Anthony and Derek and all of us have, and Rob Coddens, we've all traded that back and forth. You know, it's a pretty good. You know, we can make all the power in the world, but getting it to stick to the track and getting everything to work just perfect is the trick. You know, and everybody thinks that's easy, and it's not. It's very hard. I promise. I've spent tons of money trying to make it happen, and you know, there's so many rules in that class. You know, we can't run full slicks. We can't run. You know, we can't back half the truck. We have to weigh 6,000 pounds. You know, it's pretty good feat to get that to happen.
Absolutely. What is the current ET in mile per hour record you hold?
It's a 9 flat at 155.
Whew.
Oh.
9 flat. That is cooking at 6,000 pounds without pure slicks.
A lot of our listeners haven't been in a vehicle that goes 9 seconds. When you get in a vehicle that goes 9 versus a 13-second truck, it's like the difference is you can almost make a sandwich at the end of the track in the 13-second truck versus the 9-second. It's night and day.
So you've been working at that record for quite a while. What were some of the milestones getting there? Like, did you go 10s first, and then you went down to 9.5s, and then to 9s, or was it like what was your progression to get there?
Well, actually, the trucks have made the power for a long time, and we never did press the issue. And then some folks come along and started pressing the issue. So, you know, we never ran my truck past level 3, just fuel only. You know, it was just we could put 1,300 horse to the ground and it ran good. So they've always made the power. We just never pressed it. And here the last year or two, we've had to turn them up, and make some more changes in turbos and injectors and stuff like that to get the extra half a second out of them, or a full second actually. Because to run, we started out running 10.2s, and I brought the truck from Brian, which he was running, he run a 9.5 in it, back in 13.
Right.
And still never turned the truck up to its full potential, or never sprayed it or nothing like that. So, I mean, they've had the potential. It's just we never did press the issue, and they lived longer. Now it's more transmissions, more converters, more hard parts. So it's come up a long way from the last year or two than it was. So,
well, let's talk a little bit on the transmission. That's no Allison under there, is it?
No, sir, it's not. It is a 48RE Dodge transmission built by Gorin and JTT, and it's got a Gorin converter in it. And Dave's been working with us real hard trying to get these converters and stuff, because converters are a big issue in them on making them live. You can only pull them so many times and shoot 15, 16, 1,700 horse to them before they're going to give up.
How many passes do you get on average? Is it just like 4 or 5 passes, or do you get a full season out of a converter?
Oh, no, we won't get near a full season. We'll go through several converters. They're, like I say, it's we used to get 4 or 5 races out of a converter, and then we started pressing the issue, like I said, and, man, it's been, sometimes we don't get a race out of a converter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We're going to have Dave Guerin on the show talking about converter sizing and what type of stall you should run for certain power levels. So I want our listeners to really pay attention to that episode when it comes to air.
Absolutely. Yeah, and speaking of stalls, what do you have to set up for a stall to get a triple turbo setup like this to launch at the line?
Well, we used to run 3,200 stall in our precision converters, and we still have a couple of those. And I think Dave has these set up around 2,800 to 3,000.
Gotcha. Okay, so brought it down a little bit over time.
I think so.
Okay, I gotcha.
That way it's not, free. It's not heating it up so bad, We got a little more energy to start out with.
Gotcha. That makes sense. All right. So as we're taking a look at this, I'm scrolling through the stats here. 9.796 at the track. Not your best time ever, but still the second fastest Duramax. And then 1,960 horsepower with 2727 foot-pounds of torque. That was the highest horsepower Duramax of the day. I got to imagine that a big leader in that is your triple turbo setup. Can you tell us a little bit about the turbos?
Yeah, they're ED turbos. We have 3 S480s on there. That's what we've been running, and we've been running them for a while. And Chris at ED has he's kind of adjusted. I think the one in the valley there is it has like a 96 millimeter wheel in it, so it's a little bit bigger. Same housing, just a little bit different wheel in it than the two others. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And have you guys ever changed the turbo setup throughout the time, or has this been one of those where it's always worked, stick with it?
No, this is the same that I've had in it since 2013.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's reliable, man. That's
good.
good.
I've never wasted a turbo. We've never shelled a turbo out. We've never had an issue with a turbo ever.
No shit. Even with the nitrous, huh?
Even with the nitrous, we've never had a turbo issue. Them are the same turbos that's been on it for 2013, and my other truck, they've been on there since 2011. We've never had an issue with a turbo.
That's awesome.
Now, how much spray did you run to get up to that 1,900 horsepower of those triple turbos?
I'm not real sure. We only had 2 stages on there. A lot of people had 3, but we had 2 stages on there, and I'm not real sure the jet sizes that Chris had in there, honestly, because he's more experienced at the dyno. So he didn't want to tell me what size jets was in there, so I honestly don't know.
Are you talking about Chris Buhyder or Chris with ED?
No, this is Chris with Truck Source Diesel.
Yep. Okay.
Chris and Ray over there, good guys. They were out there all weekend with you, the whole Truck Source Diesel crew. Danny and I had a lot of fun hanging out with them, huh?
Oh, man, you guys are a riot. But speaking of those guys, you guys missed an event in North Texas for your NHRDA. Can you tell us a little bit about what you sacrificed to come to the UCC?
About 15 to 1,800 miles one way. Actually, the track in Ennis is it's only 24 miles from my house.
Oh, your hometown track.
Yes, I live just 24 miles down the road, and Chris and them come from San Antonio. They have about a 4-hour drive, but we actually left San Antonio that early, about 3 o'clock in the morning, and headed to Indy, and it was a 17-hour drive for us. So,
Whew.
So there was a race going, and what did you guys miss?
miles round trip, 3,000 miles round trip versus a 50-mile round trip.
And that was an NHRDA sanctioned event, correct?
Yes, and not only me, I missed it, but Chris Buhyder, he missed it. He runs Super Street with me. Ray Ross, he missed it. He runs 1090 class. He come with us, and so did Will Ellington. He runs Super Diesel, and he come with us and missed his also.
Oh, how does that now with NHRDA? That's a points race for the end of the year, isn't it?
It is a points race, and they actually are the ones kind of like NHRA. They hold official records also. So.
Gotcha. Okay. And how long have you been a licensed driver with the NHRDA?
Probably 4 or 5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. I know for a lot of the guys in the points races, it's a big deal to miss one because you get 0 points for the day, and that's real hard to make up for the rest of the year. Do you think you're still in it for the shootout for the year for the points?
Probably not me. I'm hoping Chris Buhyder is, but and Ray and Will, but I'm not. I'll be out of it just because I missed the first couple of races trying to get the truck ready for UCC, and they made they went to Phoenix and stuff like that. So hopefully he'll be back in it. He's actually Chris Buhyder's actually Super Street. He's the 2-time points champion. So, and he was the world champion last year. So.
Absolutely, yeah. He's just been killing it out there in his truck.
Yep.
Wade, I usually start off our episodes, but we're trying to move it to the middle here for people to give us a little bit of a background. I mean, obviously, you're a professional drag race driver. Not that I'm sure you make enough money doing it to pay the bills. It's more of a hobby, right? But but you've been doing this a long time. How did you get started in diesel performance?
Well, actually, I bought a Duramax in '02, and I put like a plug-and-play, programmer on it and everything, and it done good. And then, I ended up a few years later getting an '06 Duramax, which is the one I have now, which is actually a cab and chassis dually. I bought it for a welding truck, and I got to playing with it and putting programmer on it, and then I went from a programmer to an added twin set, and then from that to, a little bit of nitrous, and ended up burning a hole through a stock piston in a motor, and, went from after that, and completely retired the truck as a welding truck and built it into a strictly drag truck.
And that is ill-tempered.
That is ill-tempered.
Strictly drag truck that poses as the truck puller once a year.
It actually used to be, it ran down the road weighing 11,440 pounds.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, the thing weighted down.
And
Welder by trade, right?
And oxygen settling bottles, toolboxes, everything on it. So
the truck used to make you money. And you made a comment to me in the pits that you have the stock rear axle in the truck.
Yes.
That's not a question.
I mean, I know it's not a question. It's just I can't believe that you would run at this caliber with a stock axle in the back. That just kind of blows my mind.
It holds it, right?
Yeah, it has a stock axle in the back, and it has like $50 remans from O'Reilly, the CV joints in the front.
Well, fuck it. Save money where you can, right? You don't got to spend the bank on every part.
They haven't broke, so I don't know why I fix them when they haven't broke. So, but I can't say that now. UCC took care of both of those for me.
Did they really?
Okay.
Yes.
That second pole tore you apart, man, huh?
Yeah, we still drove it in the trailer. We had really good luck out of this truck all weekend. We beat the motor up. It held all three events and still runs like a dream. We still drove it in the trailer, even with broke CVs and axles and stuff. But it did break in that rear axle shaft and one CV in the front.
That's just a badge of honor for the UCC, in my opinion.
Well, I think it draws a big point, about building your truck for sled pulling or building your truck for drag racing. As you're going through this, it's not just all diesel performance parts. It comes down to what you're going to do and where the stress is at on the truck. I mean, this truck's no slouch, right? It's been running 9 flats, for a season. It's making 1,900 horse, 1,500 horsepower on the track every few weeks or at least once a month throughout the summer, right? And here it is, 2 pulls, and it just rips shit apart. And you can see it's not just about the horsepower in your truck finding your weak link. It's how you're going to use that horsepower that's going to find that weak link. Are you going to rebuild it with stock axles again? I mean, do you plan on pretty much calling it quits for the sled pulls?
No, we're putting billet axles in it. I think I got a buddy of mine that does actually. He has a sled pulling truck, and he builds axles, custom axles. So I'm talking to him about, maybe building some, axles for it and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I mean, we're gonna change some things up.
I love it. Okay. Well, Wade, obviously you have a ton of experience drag racing. I think a lot of our listeners would benefit quite a bit to learn some more about drag racing and some of what really goes on behind the scenes. Can you walk me through what your process is once you're in the staging lanes up until the point that you actually launch the truck? What do you do? What's going through your head?
Oh, just making sure, and staying calm and making sure, that everything, all your accessories, because, we run a water-to-air intercooler and, trans fans are all on a different button, and we don't want to turn everything on until we get ready to launch the truck, And pretty much just coming up there, being calm and staging, and, we don't try to kill the truck off the line because the track won't hold it. It has too much power for it to hold it if you just try to launch it too hard. So getting up there and pre-staging your first bulb, because we run a Pro Tree, just pre-staging the first bulb, and building about 10 to 15 pounds of boost. Anything 20 or above, you're in trouble if you launch it at that. So, and this is my truck, everybody's truck may be different, but, we usually come up there and stage at about 15 pounds and, and hold it there and bump into the second bulb. And then, as soon as the 3 ambers blink, you better be gone. Don't wait for it to hit green. As soon as them blink, you better be gone. And, that's pretty much it, making sure, everything is on, all your accessories is on, because we have our setup a little different than probably some people do, but it's a little different, It's
in what
fun.
way?
It's
In
pretty
what way is it
exciting,
different, Wade?
Get up there and once it launches, and hold on and let it do its thing.
I love it, man. It's so exciting to see these things launch off the line, isn't it, Danny?
That's my favorite part. But it's different, though, at the UCC versus when you're running like NHRDA, I think, when you have that pro tree versus you have all day when it's just you and the truck and the track versus that tree. It's like faster than a blink of an eye that'll drop during your race, typically in NHRDA. So cutting a good time, cutting a good light on a pro tree is a phenomenal accomplishment all on its own right there. And then the rest of the race still has to, happen.
Yeah, what's the best reaction time you've ever cut?
Oh, man. I've cut a .157 reaction time before. It's pretty good, and we're foot braking, so we don't have a trans brake or anything like that in the four-wheel drive, so it's pretty good. I mean, it's our 60 foot like at UCC. We had a 148 60 foot. We was on the best pass the truck's ever been in doing 8, and the trans let go on us, unfortunately, but I mean, we was looking at it probably an 890 pass there, pretty easy. So it gets up there. My engine builder sent me a little text at the drag strip there when we was at UCC and told me, said, after the sled pull especially, said, "I'm sorry, my engine's tearing up your drivetrain." So
that's it, though, man. I mean, I can't believe it. So what happened to the trans? What was the failing point?
We think the input shaft give up in it. We think that's what it was. But luckily, Dave, he helped us out, and we brought 2 transes and run back to the pits, and the guys, they tore the trans out, and within an hour and a half, they had a new trans back in it, new converter, everything, and we went back around. We was going to try to make another pass, and I guess the track got oiled down, so they shut the track down. We didn't get to try to make another pass at it, but it is what it is, I guess.
So on any of your practice hits, going to your local track, have you ever cut a perfect light before in the truck?
No, I never have. Not on a pro tree.
Yeah.
I've cut a 002 light on a countdown tree, but not a pro tree.
It's a hard task. It's kind of like getting a hole-in-one in golf if you've ever, been on a par 3.
Yeah.
You can get close, but to get it in there, it's once in a lifetime, I think, deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, NHRDA is a lot different than the UCC was because you're not actually drag racing somebody. If you're dragging racing somebody, you better be up there and you better be ready to go.
How does that change it from the driver's perspective?
Oh, it's actually huge because you don't have all the time you want to sit up there and spool your turbos up. If you have a truck that has hard time spooling, you're done. You got somebody like my truck and Chris's truck, Chris Buheider's truck, and all of our. I mean, they'll spool instantly. I mean, they're fast spooling. You can spool it in 2 or 3 seconds, and they're ready to go. And a lot of these guys that have this huge turbo setups, it takes a while to spool them up. With big injectors and stuff. So it makes a big difference if you have somebody next to you. It'll time you out if you're on a like a 7/10. Tree, they'll time you out and you're disqualified. So,
whew. Okay, good. Well, let's talk about plans for the future. Obviously, you're got a little work to do on the truck to keep her going and get her back out on the street this year. But what about next year? Are we going to see you at the UCC again?
We might. I don't know. I need to sit down and talk with Chris Buheider and Guy Tripp at SoCal. I mean, they're 2 of my major sponsors. They help me out tremendously. Because there's no way I could do it without those guys. I mean, they make it happen for me for sure because it's very, very expensive. So, I'll talk to Chris and everything and see if he wants to try it again. See what happens.
Okay. If we had a time machine and we could put you back to April 20th here and let you get another pass at the UCC, what would you do differently?
I wouldn't do anything different, honestly. I mean, we done really good. We just had a issue with the trans giving up, the shaft giving up in the trans. If we could have got another shot at that, I think we'd have been better. I think the injector bodies on the LBZ Duramaxes, they only flow so much, and we've got them. They're like 400%, 450%, and they're pretty much tapped out on what kind of fuel they'll make. I don't know that we could do anything different there. Besides, I talked to Chris, and I think he talked to Greg and Andrew at S&S, and I think we'd have to do some machine work to the heads to get a different injector in there that flows more to make more power. So, I mean, for what we've got, I mean, it done what it was supposed to do. I mean, we didn't have no issues with anything as far as the engine, injectors, turbos. I mean, we had a few little minor issues with the shaft and the trans. Besides that, man, the truck run phenomenal, and we're very excited to have come out 3 out of 32 teams.
Yeah, you said it, man. You guys put on a hell of a show, and to be honest with you, you're one of the only, if not the only guy out there that didn't own a shop. Like you had said, this is a very expensive hobby. Could you give, maybe you don't have an exact budget, but could you give somebody an idea of what does it cost to build a truck that could compete at the UCC? I mean, how much money do you think in a ballpark is wrapped up in this thing?
Well, to compete at a top level, it's over $100,000 easy. I know some of these guys have $100,000 just in their motor, not counting the rest of the truck. So I mean, it's very expensive. Yeah, and I don't have a diesel shop. I have a mechanical contract company, and a welding company, and Chris, at Truck Source Diesel, Chris Alnese and Chris Buhire, both of those owners, they've helped me tremendously. I mean, like I said, and Guy Tripp at SoCal, and Andrew and Greg at S&S, and Chris at ED, and even Mike at the Duramax store. He sent 2 sets of extra front end parts for us in case we needed them, and they didn't budge an inch on nothing we put them through. So I mean, without sponsors, and stuff like this, there's no way I could do it. That's for sure. It's very expensive. So
I just want you to know what kind of set you apart from everybody else, in my opinion, kind of as a spectator as well. You and Michael Graves, you guys you could tell that you guys had fun doing it. Just resonated into the audience, and everything that you said and did throughout the whole weekend, people were watching you. And when you get on the loudspeaker, you were so excited, and we could just definitely read you like that, and we could tell you were having a great time.
That passion. That's what it's about. It's so rare to get fans out there who are able to compete at the top level, Wade. That was one of the reasons we wanted to have you on the podcast today, is because, like we said, a lot of these guys are shop owners. They have something in it directly for them. They're hoping to build their business. For you, seems like it's really just about the fun. What is it that gets you and the family out there every weekend? What really motivates you to do something like this?
Man, I just like having fun, trying to be the top of your competition and trying to be one of the best there is. Like I told Guy Tripp when I sent him the money to build my motor, I said, I want this to be the absolute best motor that you can build. And that's what he's built me. I mean, for the last several years, I mean, he's gotten the best motor. I mean, I've never had an issue, with his motors. And, like Chris and them, I mean, I felt like I went to the best diesel shop anywhere around me, and these guys have brought the truck to the next level, and just being able to come out and compete like that, I felt like being it was a dedicated drag truck that, some people might have had some doubts on what it would do and everything else and stuff like that, and I feel like we put the Duramaxes up there with some of the Cummins guys.
Absolutely. Definitely represented strong for the bow tie this weekend. It was an amazing feat. I think everybody was shocked to see the performance overall of this truck, and I know everybody was blown away to see a drag racer killing it on the sled pull track. That was really, really awesome. A major highlight for me this weekend. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, Wade, and thank you for killing it at the UCC.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
If anybody's in the greater San Antonio area, make sure you give Truck Source Diesel a stop or a phone call and get your service work done there.
Absolutely. Folks.
Yeah, they're awesome guys down there. There's no doubt.
Wade, any last-minute shout-outs? Anybody we haven't included so far that helped you out with the truck?
Man, just like I said, Chris Buhider and Chris Alnese at Truck Source Diesel, Brian Chandler and Nate for doing all the wrench turning on this truck. They pretty much do all the work on it at Truck Source Diesel. Guy Tripp and Lorenzo at SoCal for building one of the best engines, the Duramax engines in the world, in my opinion. I guess Chris at ED, for the turbos. Greg and Andrew at S&S for the injectors. Mike at the Duramax store for all the front-end parts that are bulletproof. JTT in Midlothian for helping on the trans. Dave Gorin for all the work on the trans and converters. I mean, without these guys, there's no way I could do it for sure. That they're a big, big help, that's for sure.
That's so awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate you joining us tonight, Wade. This has been Paul Wilson.
And I'm Danny Voss.
Thanks for listening.
Calibrated Power Solutions, a leading North American developer of clean diesel power and home of DuramaxTuner.com, is the proud sponsor of the Diesel Performance Podcast. Calibrated Power develops emissions-equipped tunes for a wide variety of diesel powertrains, including the Duramax, Cummins, Jeep, John Deere, and many more. For more information and the best customer service in the industry, check out calibratedpower.com or call 815-568-7920. That's 815-568-7920. To reach out to the Diesel Performance Podcast, send us a message through Facebook or email Paul at DuramaxTuner.com or Danny at DuramaxTuner.com.
It was almost a dream. Like, I woke up Monday and I'm like, what happened this weekend?